Howdy. Um, Hope you are doing well, and I hope you're in good spirits. And this is the follow up to my video about the Alcatraz swim. Um, to close that out, regarding San Francisco, um, I think my favorite restaurant in the world is there. It's in Dogpatch, which is kind of the Port District on Tennessee. Um, it's Marcella's, and whatever the daily special is, it'll be the best Italian food you ever had in your life. I've never got the sense they do it for the money. I got the sense they did it because they love their culture and want to share it with the world, and that's real. That's real talk. So after the Alcatraz swim, and having seen, the kind of people that do those things, and wanting to be more like them because they just seem like beautiful people to me. I wanted to do an Ironman, which is really, really ambitious. Alcatraz for it being my first open water swim, that was ambitious, and shooting for an Ironman is really ambitious. And I know sometimes folks say that you should temper your ambitions so you don't set yourself up for failure. I have another belief that you should shoot for the stars, and if you miss, you're going to hit the moon. Um, and so it's the not taking shortcuts that hurts people, but you should shoot for the stars. And if you fail and you tried your hardest, you're still going to hit pretty high. So I wasn't able to find an Ironman, but I was able to find a half Ironman. And the name of the race is the Honu 70.3. Honu is Hawaiian for sea turtle, and 70.3 represents the distance you're going to travel during the course of the triathlon. It's half of an Ironman, so 1.1 miles, half of 114, and then half of a marathon, which is 13.1 miles. So 13.1, 1.1, 14.2, or 14.3 subtracted from 70. So I think it's 56. Yeah, 56 miles you'll ride a bike on. And so I'd never done a triathlon when I signed up for it. And it the demographic of people that do it are usually white collar folks. And so I had to go get a bike, and I bought a specialized Alez. It's a road bike. It's a pretty good bike. And when I got it, I was like blown away by how fast it was. You would think a bike is a bike is a bike. And, that's like saying, a 4-cylinder, car from 1998 is the same as a 4-cylinder turbo European car or something. They've evolved. And so right away that stood out. It was a super fast bike. And it was on the low end. I couldn't afford what a lot of people pay. Most people who do this regularly have $5,000-$6,000 bikes. Mine was nowhere near that. And I learned that when people wear the biker shorts on bicycles, it's because there's like a bike seat in them. And if you're gonna ride 50, 100 miles on a bike, you're going to need that cushioning because it's going to hurt otherwise. And the seats on the bikes are really small because they're designed to be compatible with the biker shorts. I learned that the top, the shirts you see they wear that are tight, they hold you in. And so if you're going to ride 50 miles, and you're a little bit chubby, you don't want your boobs bouncing all that time because it's going to hurt. So it holds you in. Your gut, if you got a little bit of a gut, it holds it in and makes it just, it helps over these long distances. So there's a functionality to it that I didn't know and I learned about. I also had to learn about nutrition, how to eat, wafers, salt pills, freezing your water bottles, and learning how to stay, at this peak point for long periods of time. The longest workout I think I ever had was a 2-mile swim, a 100-mile bike ride, and an 18-mile run back to back to back. I started like at 6 a.m. and ended, really late in the day. And so, you got to hydrate and learn to take care of yourself so you can keep going. And so, after the Alcatraz swim, I realized that I had learned about cutoffs and that you have to make it to certain points by a certain time if you wanted to continue with the race. And, there's some in the swim. If you're not at a certain point in the swim, you're done. And if you don't finish the swim by a certain point, you're done. Then you get on the bike and, over the course of 56 miles, you might have 2 cutoffs. On a full Ironman, you might have 6 or 7. And so if you're not making those times, you get pulled out of the race. So, I learned that I had to learn how to swim properly. And so I picked up this book on a technique called total immersion, which studies the physics of how ships cut through water, or the engineering. And so you try to replicate those things. And an example would be like you stay long, like you keep your arm stretched and you don't bring it back to pull until the other one hits it. So you always have an arm out because longer ships cut through the water better than smaller ones. And so, when you breathe, you kind of empty out half your lungs, and that will make your body like dip like this because you're not full of air. And if your legs are high and your chest is down, you're more what's called hydrodynamic, and so you're cutting through the water faster. And in a swimming pool, you're taught to use your legs, but if you're gonna do these long distance events, you want to save your legs for the bicycle and the run. And so you focus on these on how to breathe so that you're not tipped up and inefficient because all the water's hit. You're catching all the water. And so I swam a lot. I really liked it. And I did good. I felt like I did really good with the swim. I shaved almost 20 minutes off of my time from Alcatraz. No, 25 minutes I think I shaved off from that to the next one. So that was a big improvement, and I was proud of that. So I started riding my bike at lunch. I wasn't just swimming anymore. Sometimes I'd go running around the Capitol, and that was always nice because there's always people there running. You get to see all kinds. You get to people watch, and there's a lot of beautiful people out there, and you see your friends out there that might be doing the same thing. So, working out, and so it was cool. I enjoyed training for it. It was in Hawaii on the Big Island, and I had to rent a bike case. I had to learn to take my bike apart and fix it in case it broke down during the race, and pay for a seat for it to go to Hawaii and back. That was a hard one, but again, that's the kind of things that people who pursue formal education in the sciences and engineering, that's the kind of things they have. Like I said, I was kindness of others and grace of God. Um, anyways, so I go to Hawaii. I break my bike down. I wrap it up carefully in bubble wrap. Put it in this box. Get to the hotel. My family runs to down to check out the restaurants and the little boardwalk right there. We're at the hotel right next to the boardwalk, the Royal Hawaiian, I think it is, and on the Hilo side. Is it on the Hilo side? No, it's on the Kona side. Sorry, it's on the Kona side. And so, I put my bike together, and I'm all proud that I learned how to do this, that I taught myself to do this, so I can participate in this race, right, in this triathlon. And I put it up on the balcony, taking pictures with my bike, and I'm putting on my outfit, and it's kind of funny because I'm not like in the best shape, and I bought the bike outfit that was on sale. And you're not supposed to use anything new on a race day. Like, you're supposed to break stuff in because you don't know how it's going to affect you. And over long distances, it could tax you. So, so mine had like Toyota on it and Mike's Bikes and like all this advertising. Like, I was some hotshot bicyclist. And I was probably like in the top 5% for chubby motherfuckers there. Because there was chubby people there. And most of them are fit though. And so then let's see, with the running, I would run around the Capitol, and that's the least favorite part. I didn't like the running. I love the swimming and the bicycling. There's a nice bicycle trail here. It runs like 32 miles. It's along the river in the spring. You go out there early, you see like little baby quails running along the thing, Bambis. One time I was flying and like a little Bambi looking deer ran alongside me, and I stopped because I was afraid it would jump across and I would hit it. But you'll see like little snakes, little quails. It's beautiful, and so I enjoyed that. Some of the crazy things I would see out there though, there was this white dude who he had long hair. He kind of looked like Harvey Keitel in Taxi Driver. He would have no shirt on and no shoes and no socks. And this is black asphalt. And in Sacramento, man, it'd be like 105 sometimes, 110. And I would try not to go out when it was hot like that, but sometimes I would. And that fool would be walking like 5-10 miles on the hot-ass pavement barefoot. Because you would see the same people every day. They were using the trail every day. You get to know them. You start waving, hey, and whatnot. But so I enjoyed it. And so as part of the training, I would also watch videos on YouTube about Ironman. And there's one that I think it's Ironman Motivation. And you can do also Till I Collapse Ironman. And it's Eminem song Till I Collapse, to scenes from Ironman where, like, I think he was 82. He's crossing the finish line, like crawling, and like everybody's crying. I'm crying when I see it because it's just such a testament to the human spirit that he could do that. And this is in Hawaii, which is a really hard Ironman because of the winds in the afternoon with the bikes and for a whole bunch of reasons. I'll leave the Ironman attempts to part 3, but these videos were part of my training. I was trying to build my mind for this because a lot of it is mental. Some folks might say it's all mental, but a lot of it is mental. I've met people who were 20, 30 times more fit than me. it's their lifestyle. It's not my lifestyle. I kick it, I drink. Um, I do with homeboys that were like, they would tell you, man, I'm lazy, man, and they were balling homeboys, but they would tell you I'm lazy, and like I had that lifestyle sometimes too, but these were people that already ran marathons, were already super fit, and they would be scared to try one. They're like, oh, I could never do that, and I'm like, fuck, man, if you could beat me. There were people at work. There was this one girl who, like, we raced, she beat me. We went swimming, she beat me. We did the stairs, she beat me. And like, to her, it was so unfathomable that they could do these things. And so there is some mental to it. And I would train my mind by watching these videos on, like, very inspirational people who had attempted these great uh, physical endeavors. Diane Nyad, a lady who swam from Cuba to Florida, first one to ever do it, and she was like, I think maybe 60 years old. Um, these are beautiful people, mind blowing people, and so I would watch those videos, and over the course of the time, I would also learn about Ironman, and I thought, you can't. I wanted to be an Ironman. That I thought was, as much as I shun labels, I wanted that label. And I thought the tribe was a cool tribe. And, there's a senator from Arizona, Kristen Sinema. And when she became elected, I kind of looked at her profile, and it said, Kristen Sinema, Ironman, and also U.S. Senator. And so, that's how meaningful that title is to some people, and to me as well. And so I was like, man, I want to be an Ironman. And I was always talking about it. And, I would talk to my family about it. And I'm like, but you can't do 100 half Ironmans and be an Ironman. You have to do a full Ironman. And so, anyways, that became understood to everyone that I had this ambition to become an Ironman, and the only way to do it is to complete a full Ironman. So, we pack up the family, and we all head to Hawaii. And I got all my gear. I got all these wafers. When I get there, I go to the bike store. I buy CO2 cartridges so I can, air up my tire, my spare inner tube if I get a flat. I'm practicing how to change the tire quickly, et cetera, et cetera. And then I just have a great vacation. And I go to athlete check-in, and it's at this hotel. And when we get there, there's this corded barrier, and a sign that says athletes only beyond this point. And so I turned to my family, and I'm like, sorry, guys, you guys ain't athletes. I'll catch you later. And the joke is that, like, I've never been an athlete. I've never played school sports. When I was a small kid in the projects, I remember a soccer league started, and it was $20 to sign up. And so my mom gave me $25, and I went to this store called On Time Fashion, and I bought some of those pants with the zipper on the leg, and you zip it, and it's a different color inside. And I was the first kid to have those at the elementary school, but all the other kids got fit and healthy playing soccer, and I would go off and just get in trouble somewhere or whatever. Or sometimes we had these things called we called them the Chinese gardens, because the Chinese people tended to them. And, in the Dorotea Puente video, I kind of talk about how there was this wide swath of raza. And actually what I didn't say was that since the 1800s, that's always been like the marginalized side of town. Not anymore. And that included living with a lot of Chinese folks. And so the Chinese folks had these community gardens. But like I totally digressed. So damn, that threw me off. So we're in Hawaii, and I'm on vacation. Oh, so I wasn't an athlete. There you go. So I wasn't an athlete, and so that was kind of the joke. And over the course of the week leading up to the race, because I think we got there like on a Tuesday, and we were leaving the following Thursday, and the race was like on a Saturday. Because I wanted to acclimate too to Hawaii, and so like during the week when I'm there, after athlete check-in, you get these bracelets, and you know so you're walking around with like a bracelet that you would get at a party, those plastic ones that are hard to take off unless you cut them, and it says Honu 70.3, and then the Ironman logo, and like walking around Kona because it's small in Kona. Um, you felt like you were at Olympic Village, and like for someone who's never been an athlete, it was a trip to feel like, damn, I feel like I'm at Olympic Village and I'm one of the Olympians, and it was cool, and I also say this now so I don't forget, but something I experienced during the triathlons was that, and it really happened here where I first noticed it, was that everyone encouraged everyone along the whole way. And when you see, you know, like after 9/11 or, you know, other tragedies that have struck our country, um, you see how everyone comes together, or they used to at least. I mean, we're kind of polarized right now, which is sad, but like everyone would pull together and help each other and like bring them along to safety or what have you. And you get that in these events. Like everyone is so encouraging. If you see people throughout the race, people start developing nicknames for each other. Um, you know, if you had a big mustache by the end of the race, they'd be like, "Come on, Stash, you got this." Or mine was based on the outfit. Oh, Mike's Bikes. I was Mike's Bikes because that was on the "Come on, Mike's Bikes." Um, During the Ironman, not during this one. But anyways, the day of the race shows up, and I had bought some flowers. You know, I talked to some Hawaiian folks, and I asked them if it would be offensive if, like, you know, I threw some petals to the volcano and to the ocean before I did it, and they said, "Nah, that's cool that you would do that." And so. So I had them with me, and so the morning of the race, like you have to be at the start line, depending on if you have to take a bus to the actual start line from a parking thing, or if you're because the traffic gets crazy. For like the Ironman, you had to be out there like at 4 in the morning, I think. For this one, I think we had to be there at 5:30, and so I wake up. I've been training 6 months, and my daughter's dragging her feet, and she tends to she thinks charm is gonna get her through life sometimes, and wit, and it might, you know, it might, and she's dragging her feet, and I flashed on her. I'm like, come on, everything ain't a joke. I gotta be there, and if I gotta worry about you this morning, that ain't helping me. Something like that. And when I said it, like I saw her face. You know how if you hurt someone's feeling, like you can see their face, like you can almost like they felt the hit, and I instantly regretted it. Hey, I'm sorry. But you know we gotta go, and so we go. I get to the beach. You know, I asked the event organizers. I release some flowers into the water, come back up. You know, and then I asked if I can like swim in the water a little bit before it starts, just to just to get wet, a little bit acclimated, because it's early in the morning, but it's Hawaii, so the water's not that bad. And part of the reason I did this one too was because you could see all the way to the bottom because it's so clear. And I thought, man, if I don't make it during the swim, at least people could see me, laying on the rocks on the bottom as opposed to, in a muddy lake or something. And so I do that, and then I bid farewell to my family. They all give me a hug, wish me well, and boom, the race starts. And so I jump in the water, and like there was a bunch of people around me that were hella hubbed and fit, and I'm not. That's not me. And I beat them on the swim. I beat them on the swim. Like I did it in 50 minutes. So when I did it from Alcatraz, I did it in an hour and like 10 minutes. So yeah, 20 minutes I shaved off, not 25, 20, but that was pretty good, and I was proud of it. And people who are hubbed, like they weigh more. And so it's harder for them. And, I shouldn't compare yourself to other people. Try to beat yourself every day, not, beat that person or whatever. But I was proud that I was fast on a swim. And I go change, and you put on your bicycle gear, your shoes. And so the other thing that I learned about the bike is that, normally when you ride a bike, most folks, they have just the regular pedals and they're pushing down, and that's how you move forward. You push down on the pedal, and then when the other one comes up, you push it down. With these events, you get those shoes that, are funny and click clack because they clip in to the, they clip onto the pedal. So the pedal is actually stuck to your foot. And what you learn to do is you're pushing down, but with the other leg, you're pulling it back. And so you're getting a push, pull, as opposed to just push. And that push, pull makes you faster. And less, you use your legs less because you might have to run a marathon after you ride a bike 114 miles, or you might have to run a half marathon after riding a bike 56 miles. And so that was something else I learned, and that had a hard lesson in it. Everyone told me, when you first do them, you're going to fall. And I'm like, come on, man, I ain't going to fall. You already warned me. And they're like, no, you're gonna fall. Everybody falls. Without fail, everybody falls. And so, I thought I'm gonna be the one that doesn't. And so I started riding with like just one shoe clipped in, and for the longest, because I could then do the other one. I'm like, all right, I'm cool. Now I know I'm coming to a stop, and I'll pop out of them. And the way you pop out is like you just click your heel out and you come out of them. It's easy to come in and out of them if you know what you're doing or have a little bit of practice, like 2-3 times. And so I was doing that, and I hadn't fallen, and I got pretty confident, and I went to the bike trail one day, and I'm coming back, and there's a water faucet there, and there's some cyclists next to it, and I pull up, and I forgot I had the shoes on, and I didn't click out. I just said, zoop, bah, fell on my side. They all ran over, picked me up. I was like, oh, I'm cool. I just started. This is the first time I fell, and then they all told me their story of how they fell. And then it happened the second time at an intersection, and I fell, and I saw a car coming to me, and like the wheel was maybe like 2 feet from where my head was. It was a Mercedes, black one. That was scary, but everybody falls that I know of. And so, you learn that, and then when you ride the bike, you're thinking cadence, and like you're trying to get that flow so that you're pushing and pulling at the same time. And the beautiful thing about this was, the swim was a really beautiful swim. Like you could look down and see the corals and stuff underneath you. And then when you're done, the bike course is the upper half of the, world famous Ironman World Championship bike course. It's like the northern tip of Kona, and it's almost entirely along the ocean. and then you ride through little beautiful Hawaiian villages that they're just beautiful and quaint and just dope. You know, that shit is dope. Um, but it is really hilly, and because it's a half Ironman, it's like I think earlier in the morning we would have got another hour if it was, you know, it would take me 2 hours to swim, twice as long, right? Um, and twice as long on the bike means you're riding it later in the day when the wind picks up. We've had some breezes, but it was beautiful, and hard. You know, it was hard because it was a lot of hills. But I had trained by riding, the bike courses here all the way to the end, which got hilly towards Auburn, and it was yeah, it was lovely. It was lovely. And then I come back on the I finish up the bike. So I ride at 56 miles, and then I start the run, and the run was at this really beautiful hotel, and part of it was on a golf course, part of it was like through some old lava fields, but nothing has grown there, so it's just lava rock. And and by this time it's hot and humid. I believe they watered the lawns, and it rains every day a little, like for a little bit, but the heat was coming off of the lawns. And so I'd never ran 13 miles in my life. I the most I did was the Beta Breakers, which was 7.5 or about 7 kilometers, I think, even so maybe just 5, um, and and so I started out on it, and by now I'm feeling it. The some of the adrenaline's wearing off. Everybody has race day boost. Like even your best performance will be better on race day, just from the adrenaline of the crowd, from the support of the others. It seems there's a lot of morale there, and so it's like a lighter lift. Um, and so I'm doing it, and while I'm doing it, like I befriended this lady from Walnut Grove, and so we're kind of walking together, and talking, and then we jogged for a little bit, and there was a method where like you jog for a minute, walk for a minute, jog for a minute, that helps people do and complete these things, and that's kind of the approach I took. And then like maybe with 4 miles to go, I realized, oh shit, me and her didn't start at the same time. I started before her. And that means I have to get to the finish line before her, or I didn't make it. And um and so I told her that, and I said, I gotta go. And then I took off because I was close. Like I was barely making the cutoff times by like 2-3 minutes, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it. And then when I was running through like the lava fields, um, they had these beautiful volunteers that were just so awesome and supportive and encouraging, giving you these like bags of ice that you could put on your head, and you would put them on your head, and they would be melted like less than a minute later, and you would just be hot as fuck. I like in hindsight, I'm lucky I didn't have a heat stroke, because I mean it was pretty bad, and it was really humid. Um, that was grueling. That part of it was grueling, and then when you're running on the grass, it's a lot harder than on the cement. But your choice was like on either on this grass that's like late in the day and the humidity's coming off of it, or on these through these lava fields that are just dry as hell, but it's still humid, and and you could get anything. I mean, they got tons of oranges, Gatorades, sodas, at the very end, like the last two stations, I think they even had coffee, monster drinks, wafers, salt pills, bananas. It's they hook it up. You pay to do these things, but they do definitely look out. And this race particularly has the best swag. I'll get into that. Fuck, I should have had the shirt to show you guys, but they got some dope swag. Um, and so it was like just really grueling. And I would be walking, and I pretty much probably looked like a zombie. And at this point, it was a trip because you would see ladies who were maybe 60, 65 years old, a little bit overweight. They weren't, the fit, pretty people that draw your attention at the beginning, passing these hella fit, tough looking dudes and girls. And so it's just conditioning, you know what I mean? You can't judge a book by its cover because, and that lady actually had a tattoo on her, I think it's on the left because you want people to see when you pass them up. An Ironman tattoo, Australia, and you don't get the Ironman tattoo and colored in. Like you maybe can get half of one if you've done a half, but if you get the full tattoo and it's colored in, you're misrepresenting that you've done a full Ironman. That's a tattoo that I would want to earn because you earn it. And I have a half of one, but to fill it in and get the whole thing, I would have to go do a full Ironman. And so anyways, that was a trip to see. Like that kind of taught me I learned something there. And so I was struggling, and like the race, like it had these these loops, right? And some places you would double back and see people that were almost done and you're like halfway through it. But you would see each other throughout the race. And I would hear just when I was feeling down, come on. And then she'd say my name. You got this, Mauro. You got this. Let's do it. And then I would take off running until like I couldn't hear the screaming no more. And then I would just start I would droop and just start slogging through it. Like, man, I ain't going to make it. I don't know if I'm going to make it. Fuck, all these people that said I wasn't going to make it, because no one believed I would make it. No one thought I would make Alcatraz. No one. People bet on me not making it. I thought that was kind of whatever. But no one thought I was going to make this or that. And I was like, man, they were right. But I'm going to keep going. And then I'd hear, oh, don't stop. Keep going. You got this. And then like other people would yell like they didn't even know me. Come on, you got it. And then I would take off running. And then finally I see the thing and you see the clock. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I made it. When I hit the last cutoff time before the just having to finish it, it was still really close, and I didn't know if I was going to. And then when I saw the clock and I saw the finish line, I'm like, oh man, I got like maybe one lap around a high school track, and I had like 18 minutes, and I was like, oh cool, I'm gonna make it. And then at that point, I just walked, and then I saw my family, and they were kind of like cheering me and walking along the side too. And then I made it across the line, and they come up and they give you a finisher medal. Everybody gets a medal, and same with the Alcatraz one. And then I had to go get my bike and still ride that mofo like another 2 miles to where the car was parked. And so I get my bike, ride it, hook it up, and I like get in the car. And my wife says, oh, Daddy, I'm so proud of you for doing an Ironman. And in the back seat, you hear, oh, let me finish before I say what you hear in the back seat. The entirety of the race, I was beating myself up because I yelled at, someone I loved. um, because I was panicking about getting to the race. And like the whole race, I thought about that. Like, man, that was the only stain on this day. This has been such a beautiful day, and that was like the only stain on. And it wasn't even a bad yell. It was just the reaction of seeing her hurt. Um, and when my wife said, "I'm so proud of you for doing it, Ironman," you hear from the back seat, and this is a little baby at the time. She says, "Half. He did half, and he's not the first one to ever do it." Oh man, I loved her so much for that, and then after that, she called me Halfy for a long time. What's up, Halfy? And if someone said, "Oh, that's cool, you did an Ironman," she would hate and say, "He didn't do an Ironman. He's just a Halfy." Like, she beat me up with that for a long time, and we had this deal where after 10 A's on papers, I would take her, or my other kids, whoever got 10, I'd take them out to eat wherever they want. And so we went to this nice restaurant, and she got her way, whatever, and she wanted ice cream. We went and got ice cream afterwards, and we're driving home, and we see this cyclist, and he looks really fit. He's flying on his bike, and she looks at him, and then she looks at me, and she's like, "Now that looks like a real Iron Man." And so, there was just always these jokes, and I'm gonna do a stand up on it, because there's a lot of material there, and it doesn't end until the last. When I tried the Ironman, and I got as far as finishing the bike. She had a joke that goes all the way back to half. He did half. So anyways, that's the story of my Honu 70.3 half Ironman race. It was also a great experience. I know in some of my videos I seem really sad about stuff. It's usually not that I'm sad for myself, but sometimes just the condition of the world. And personally, I've had some really good experiences in my life, and this was another one. And I think what I'm finding is that a lot of my greatest experiences involve me stepping out of who I've always been, and what I've always known, to try new things. Investing in myself, but by doing these things, and that I think is something I hope everybody can do, and hope to do. I haven't done anything new in a while. I do plan to start fasting again, and then see where that gets me. But yeah, that's it. I thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.